Hello once again YouTube, Chris and I bringing you some StarMade dev build news. This is dev build 1918 or 1918 and it is a doozy because there are some new features and they're quite amazing. We have docking systems, or the beginnings of new docking systems with the rail system as it has been called, and a few of these blocks have already been put into the game. The functionality has partially been implemented and it's quite amazing what we can do already. And it's not even done yet. They're not even done explaining or implementing all of the possible features that will be coming with this update. So, let's jump into this. What do we have here? We have 3 of the 4 new blocks that have been introduced so far. We have the basic, what is it called? Is it Docker? Rail Docker. We have the Rail Docker. No, that's not the Rail Docker. This is the Rail Basic. Then we have the Rail Basic Corner and the Rail Turret Axis, or Turret Rail Axis, one of the two. So this is an axis, this is a corner, and this is the rail. So the whole sliding back and forth along rails aspect of these new blocks is not implemented yet, but you can attach a ship to them or a docked entity to them via another block, the Rail Docker, which is pretty useful for this entire system. It basically makes the connection like the old turret docking systems used to. If you want, you can acquire these blocks from the General tab in the shop. The 4 of them are right here. You can also spawn them in with item IDs beginning, I believe, at 652. I know for a fact that the turret axis block was 655. Or something along those numbers. So try that range of numbers if you want to spawn them in with item ID commands. Otherwise, they are available from the shop. So, how does this all work? Let me explain. Basically, you have these arrows here. These are very important. You will only be able to see these arrows with the 64 resolution default texture pack. So make sure that you are using that when you log into a dev build. Otherwise, you will not be able to see the orientations of these blocks. These orientations are pretty important for the whole docking concept. There are 24 orientations, 4 of them per side, and there are 6 sides to a cube. So that's 24 orientations for all of them so far. And in order to rotate them, you will not be able to use the orientation from the advanced build mode. It does not seem to display the orientation that you are currently working with, nor does it seem to cycle through all of the orientations for each block. It goes through like 8, maybe 12 of them before it goes back, and there are 24 of them, so it's not hitting all of them, it seems. So in order to rotate these things, you need to hold tab and press either the 3 or the 4 above your letters on the keyboard, your horizontal number pad, I should say, I guess. I don't even know if that has a proper term or name on the keyboard, but whatever. Those are the buttons you have to press: tab and 4 or 3. Right? And as you can see, I'm cycling through. The back of the block will have a red cross on it so that you know that it is the back. Sorry, I can't speak. This is the 3rd time I had to record this video. It's quite terrible. So, that's how you orient the blocks, and this seems to be how you do it with all of them, right? I can do it with this one, and those, and these. Right, so, let's say now that you've got this set up, you actually want to dock a structure to that system. What you do is you take the Rail Docker block, you put it wherever you want it. Right now it is facing that way with a direction of this way, so it's not really going to work for me. So I have to reorient this block so that the arrows in the front can take some time. So I have these 2 arrows. Basically, what happens is when these 2 blocks connect, the arrows will be facing the same direction. So, if I'm in this ship, right now, up is this way, which means that when I attach this block to this block, I will still be facing this way when I look up. So, if I do that, in order to actually equip this, you open up the weapons tab, drag the Rail Docker to your hotbar, and you should be able to use it. It works just like a docking beam. You fire and it docks, right? Of course, you have to aim the docking beam, so make sure that you are doing that. And there you have it. We are now docked facing that way. So if I take this away, and I change the orientation, now that this arrow is facing this way, that means those arrows are going to line up so that they're both aiming the same direction when I dock, which means I'll be flipped on my side. And now, everything's sideways. A little confusing. But now, up is this way, I believe. Let me back up. Take a look. Yes. So, there are two ways to determine the orientation. You can change the direction the arrow is facing on the actual dock, or the rail, or the dock. Either one, it works, and it's awesome. So now, let's say we want to attach to the turret axis. So I'm going to place this on the bottom so that I'm facing up, because the turret axis, the top of it is here. So imagine that an axis is going straight up through this circular bit and straight into here and out the cross of this. That's basically how you have to visualize it if you're going to visualize it. And you can dock, and now I can swivel on the turret axis. Amazing. I cannot look up or down, but I can rotate this thing along this axis, right? In this specific direction. So, that's essentially how all of the docking mechanisms work so far. Again, the ability to slide across these rails is not implemented yet, and it looks like with this corner block we'll have two-dimensional layouts that you can traverse that will enable you to travel around corners and stuff with this system. But again, none of that is in yet. When it does become a thing, I will feature it and we'll go over it, possibly in the dev build, if enough features are added. I will, of course, be going over a video when stable is released, with all of these features pushed to stable. Whenever that happens, it could be a few weeks, it could be upwards of a month, who knows. So, what can you do with this system? Well, I've got a few turrets here, and let me just jump into this one. This is a turret rack of turrets that I've designed from EVE Online stuff. These are all EVE Online turrets that I've pulled, and these are all test turrets, so they're colored green, and the weapons barrels are supposed to be symbolized by this red here, or represented with the red here, I should say. So, real quick, I'm going to undock. This will get a little messy because I'm going to be colliding with some blocks. Let's hope I can actually detach. And real quick, attach the thruster. And we'll get back into position so I can explain to you, if you want to make a turret, how to do that. So let me kind of get back over here. Alright, so we have a swiveling turret axis down here. You can see the block right there, and it allows us to swivel along an axis going straight through here. And then we have another one right here, which will attach to this dock. The arrows are both facing forward, which means that this turret will be facing forward when I jump into it, which is what happened, right? And if you want to attach these, you have to make sure that it fits. You cannot have, for example, two blocks in this area, because there are two blocks right here, and these two blocks will take up the space required for these two blocks when they attach. It's very much based on collisions in that sense. Once, you have attached and made sure that everything fits and it docks, collisions are less prominent, and you'll see that in a second, and what I mean by that. But basically you have to make sure that it's a puzzle piece fit if it's going to fit in such a tight space, otherwise it will not work. If you have a block here and I try to dock this, it will not dock. Let me see if I can do that and explain to you that situation. Can't even see. Oh, I'm not even firing. Hello, what is happening? Cannot dock, structure doesn't fit. So it will tell you that it does not fit. But if I remove that one red block, that one red light, and I fire again, bam, I have docked. This turret axis is now attached to the docker, or the docker is attached to the turret axis, and now I can swivel this up and down. On top of that, it would appear that if I am on the highest like hierarchy or level of this hierarchy in terms of the chain docking, I can also swivel the base, which is amazing. Oh yeah, look at that. That shit's dope. Holy crap. I am blown away by this system. I never thought this would happen in StarMade, and it has, and it's absolutely incredible. It's so easy to use, and as far as I'm concerned, and I don't want to like push anybody's buttons, but this is much easier to do than Space Engineers, because as far as I'm aware, the Space Engineers rotors require you to activate them, determine their speed values, the torque or whatever, and all that crap, just to get it to rotate. Whereas this, I just point and aim, and it goes exactly where I want it. It's a very quick motion. It's pretty much following my cursor. There may be some sort of slowness added in the future where, you know, it will take a while for me to rotate over here based on the mass of the turret or the structure. It really depends. We have no idea as to how future turret mechanics will work, but they've talked about, you know, doing stuff like this, slowing down turrets, making it so that they are not instantaneous reorienting objects, reorienting entities that, you know, are just super op. So, or OP, I should say. So, that's what we have. Let's just real quick jump through some other turrets. It's absolutely incredible what we can do with these. Look at this. This is more of a traditional turret design. It looks fantastic. Look at that. Now, again, there are some clipping issues, so I can, you know, rotate into the structure that I am attached to, which is not really ideal, but the devs did say that they would be working on collisions to ensure that that doesn't really happen. We can jump into this one. If I zoom out, you'll be able to see what that looks like. I have not fully tested the extent of how many chain docks you can use with this, or what that will look like, or what will happen when you use more than just two of these systems. Currently they are rotating on their own axes, so I have no idea what would happen if I had two of these rotating on the same axes. Really no idea at all, but that may be something I test in the future and showcase in a video and release so that you guys can see what happens. Look at this turret. Excuse me, I burped there. This is a massive turret, but it looks so freaking cool with this new system. Just look at that. Can you imagine your big ships firing with all these guns, swiveling around and moving just like a real turret would? It looks and feels absolutely great. So far, the only issue seems to be that collision absence that, you know, allows us to clip through our main structures and stuff. But aside from that, this is a really fantastic system, and it's working very nicely so far. And we have not even seen the full extent of its functionality, which is nuts. So, that's pretty much all I have for this video. This has been DevBuild 1918, I believe. And it is fantastic. I hope you guys are excited. I hope I explained that to you, like, you know, comprehensively, so that you guys can start testing this out yourselves. If you have any questions, please ask them down below in the comments section. I will respond to as many of you as I can if you are having trouble. But essentially, it's as I have explained it. There is nothing else to it. And as long as you do what I explained in this video, you should be having a good time messing around with this new system. It does take a little while to get used to. You know, you have to kind of think in this new system's mentality. Like, there's a new mentality to designing turrets. It was kind of, I had to wrap my brain around how I was going to convert these very static turrets into swiveling turrets, which is pretty interesting, but it's pretty awesome, and it pays off massively once you finish it. So, thank you for watching. That was DevBuild 1918. If you want to see more of these update videos, subscribe, leave your feedback down below, and I will see you all next time. This is the rail basic. Then we have the rail basic corner and the rail turret axis, or turret rail axis, one of the two. So this is an axis, this is a corner, and this is the rail. So the whole sliding back and forth along rails aspect of these new blocks is not implemented yet, but you can attach a ship to them or a docked entity to them via another block, the rail docker, which is pretty useful for this entire system. It basically makes the connection like the old turret docking systems used to. If you want, you can acquire these blocks from the General tab in the shop. The 4 of them are right here. You can also spawn them in with item IDs beginning, I believe, at 652. I know for a fact that the turret axis block was 655, or something along those numbers. So try that range of numbers if you want to spawn them in with item ID commands. Otherwise, they are available from the shop. So, how does this all work? Let me explain. Basically, you have these arrows here. These are very important. You will only be able to see these put into the game. The functionality has partially been implemented, and it's quite amazing what we can do already, and it's not even done yet. They're not even done explaining or implementing all of the possible features that will be coming with this update. So, let's jump into this. What do we have here? We have 3 of the 4 new blocks that have been introduced so far. We have the basic, what is it called? Is it Docker? Rail Docker. We have the Rail Docker. No, that's not the Rail Docker. Hello once again, YouTube. Chris and I bringing you some StarMade dev build news. This is dev build 1918 or 1918, and it is a doozy because there are some new features and they're quite amazing. We have docking systems, or the beginnings of new docking systems with the rail system, as it has been called, and a few of these blocks have already been